That's no more public comment?
No more public comments.
Just so we're clear, 8463 is only triggered if there is an adverse impact on a child's mental, physical, or emotional well-being. The cause, frankly, is irrelevant. The goal of 8463 was to notify parents when their child was experiencing emotional, psychological, or physical harm. That's it. Anybody who tries to spin it that it's to out, that's false. That's patently false. This board, this administration, does not tolerate any form of discrimination whatsoever. Let me say that again. This board, this administration, does not tolerate any form of discrimination whatsoever. All students, regardless of their race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, they are welcome here. And they've been welcomed here for decades, and it has worked. And I think that Mr. Skiff made it abundantly clear that 5756 in 3 districts is now, they're enjoined from doing anything with it. But I'm the person that argued the case. And when I argued the case, I made it abundantly clear over and over and over again that 5756 wasn't a mandatory policy. I knew it wasn't a mandatory policy back in 2019. Why? Because the law didn't mandate it. But it was passed because a certain policy company put out that it was mandatory. So let's be clear. 5756 was not mandatory. And during oral argument, which went on for over probably an hour, I continued to say it's not a mandatory policy. And finally, the judge asked Mr. Michael if it's a mandatory policy, and it was clear. You heard from the transcript. I have a copy of it here. Not a mandatory policy. It's a voluntary policy. And so this board, as the resolution shows, we absolutely will not tolerate any form of discrimination against any kid for any reason whatsoever. We won't tolerate bullying. It's not going to happen. But what we're going to also do is make sure that the laws, both state and federal, are respected. We respect the New Jersey law against discrimination with utmost sincerity. We respect the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. We respect the U.S. Constitution. We respect New Jersey Supreme Court and U.S. Supreme Court decisions. That's the law. And we have to look at the law in its totality when we treat other human beings. And the teachers in this district, and I think that people are doing the teachers from the certain comments are harmed. This board and this administration absolutely embraces the teachers. They value them. They absolutely respect them. The teachers serve as in loco parente. When the kids are here, they serve as a parent. And really what the whole purpose of 8463 was, which has now been temporarily enjoined, was not to have silos, but to have teachers and administrators and folks that work in this building working as a team with the parents. Because I'm pretty sure that when we work together, we get a lot more accomplished. I think we can all agree that what's going on down in D.C., they're not working together, nothing's getting accomplished. So that's the goal of 8463. And the repeal of 5756, if it's not mandatory, if it's voluntary, if it is a policy that is being divisive, that's just not acceptable. So that's why it was repealed. But let me be very, very bluntly clear. There's no form of discrimination that will be tolerated against any child, staff member, or visitor in the school district. And any kid who thinks it's okay to bully somebody because of their race, their religion, their gender, their sexual orientation, they're going to be sadly mistaken. And they will be dealt with, as this district has repeatedly, no tolerance for any type of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. So I wanted to end it there just so that folks are clear. This is not being repealed to be harmful. This is being repealed so that everyone, teachers, paraprofessionals, administrators, custodians, bus drivers, and parents work together for the best interest of all the kids. And for those rare circumstances, one gentleman spoke, where there are parents out there that aren't treating their kids appropriately, they're reported to DCP&P, which was formerly known as DIFUS, and they're reported to law enforcement. And in those rare circumstances where that happens, this district does it because all staff are mandatory reporters. And so we do have a fail-safe. If any teacher, when I say teacher, I'm talking about anyone who works here, if they have a reasonable belief that a child's going to be neglected or abused, once they make that determination, which could be subjective, they might be wrong, but once they make that determination, they are mandated to report it. They have no discretion. So we think that by repealing this, with the laws that are in effect in the state of New Jersey and in the federal laws, we are more than capable of continuing to protect and provide a non-discriminatory environment for all students, staff, and visitors to this district. Thank you.
We wrote a policy to protect our most vulnerable, and we got sued. So that's what happened.
And there are three other districts that are being sued for changing the policy that you were just discussing. So we're not going to get involved with that. We do not turn a blind eye to LGBTQ. As we've said many times before, we include everyone. We are not anti-anybody. I wish that would just stop.
The other thing is, it'd be nice if we could take 5756 and modify it to accommodate all of the parties' respective rights. But what the hostile governor and attorney general have shown to districts around the state that have tried to do that is, we're going to sue you and we're going to make you stick with 5756 whether you like it or not, which is why everybody's repealing it now. So it'd be nice if we could do that. You should call the governor and ask him to allow us that privilege.
I want to also point out, as a member of the bar, we said this last time, there's a statute in New Jersey, it's called the New Jersey Law Against Discrimination. Somebody said it earlier. It does protect. It protects everybody. This board follows it, will continue to follow it, and will not tolerate any form of discrimination for students, for staff, or for visitors. Everyone is welcome in this district. And I said that last time. Don't interrupt me, please. I said that last time, and this board stands firm with that. Again, they also, as Mr. Skiff just pointed out, the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. It's a law, mandatory law. We follow it. We don't permit any bullying whatsoever. The repeal of this policy, it was very clearly articulated during questioning by the judge that it is not a mandatory policy. If you try to change it, you will be sued. If you pass the parental rights or parental notification policy, you will be sued. Incredibly, our parental rights policy specifically says that you cannot notify a parent based solely on a child's protected characteristics under the New Jersey Law Against Discrimination. That wasn't good enough. We got sued. So the bottom line is, this is not anti-anything. This is a repeal of a policy that already was repealed. It doesn't exist anymore in this district. And the reason being is it has caused tremendous, tremendous dissension in our society. And frankly, if you don't repeal it and you try to change it, you will be sued. We're already being sued for passing a policy that was called the parental notification policy. And in fact, we had 5756. We had it on the books. We didn't change it. And we still got sued. So again, I think what Mr. Skiff said is exactly right. Go to your legislatures. Go to the Attorney General. Go to the governor and ask them. And I asked this question. If you're really opposed to parental rights, Attorney General, or if you're not opposed to them, as he said publicly, he said it on TV, I said, if you're not opposed to it, why don't you come up with a model policy that you can share with all of us? Because then we can pass a policy and not get sued. Guess what? We still don't have a model policy that's been promulgated by the Attorney General. I invited it, hasn't been. That was 3 weeks ago. So that's where people should go. Go back to the Attorney General, ask him.
Thank you, Matt.